So the next pitfall is not following up on any quotes, or not following up on any any calls, any sales that you've actually made. And again, I'm going to go to my notes here because I've got a couple of statistics for you. 44% of people, of salespeople, give up after one telephone call. So that's nigh on 44%. That's a heck of a lot of people that just actually give up just when you're trying to make one telephone call. 60% of customers say no 4 times before making a purchase. So it's imperative that you do actually follow up with your lead. And again, 70% of salespeople will only send one email to prospects. Now, for me, I call or make telephone calls or otherwise follow up with emails that to turn around and build up that relationship until they turn around and say, right, okay, no, I don't particularly want to go ahead, or it's not going to be at this time. At which point I'll ask information with regards to, right, when's the best time for me to call? When's the next time this project is going ahead? But the other thing is, what I also then do is make sure that I have a prompt that I can then send information to to people. Because you might see something in the newspaper or on the newspaper or on a website that you think, right, that could actually help that particular client. So what I will do is I'm working with XYZ company and they're working within a particular industry. I would then like AI to ask it to be my research assistant and gather information on the latest UK news or interesting topics around that particular client's industry. Because what you can then do is actually send that person different topics or news that are relevant to them, that may be able to help them. That way that you're not turning around and saying, oh, you're not always trying to be closing, but you're actually thinking of that particular client, and you're sending them information and topics of news that can actually help them. So it's not just about getting a sale, it's about thinking about them, and it's about being able to contact with them and build that trust up.
Excuse me.
No problem. So yeah, so it's not just about sending information regarding sales, it's about also making sure that you think about that particular client and then send them information, that topic that may be interesting, or news articles that are relevant to that particular company. Now, the other one, the 8th pitfall, is the telephone preference rules. Non-compliance does actually occur. And again, I hear people turning around and saying, telephone preference, corporate telephone preference, it makes no difference. So let me explain about what telephone preference is. The corporate telephone preference and the telephone preference is a list of do not call. So it's a list of telephone numbers within the UK of companies and individuals. Now, individuals register at the telephone preference, and in corporate telephone preference, companies actually register their telephone to say that they do not wish to receive any sales or marketing telephone calls. Now, if you do actually call somebody that's actually on the telephone preference list, then there is a fine of up to £6,500. And that's per time, every time you do actually call them. And as I say, I do actually hear people say, nobody takes any notice of the telephone preference. But you know what? The ICO do. And again, I'll refer to my notes, because totaling fines in April alone for people that were ignored the telephone preference was £340,000 in April last 2024. So the ICO do actually take non-compliance of telephone preference and corporate telephone preference. They do take it seriously. And again, Data Bubble, we actually do offer the service of screening clients' records against the telephone preference and corporate telephone preference. So if you are actually planning on doing any telemarketing, you have actually got a list of clients that you are potential prospects that you do actually want to screen, then it is a service that we do actually offer. And what we do is flag the record to say that this record is then matched against the corporate telephone preference or the individual telephone preference. So it ensures that you're compliant and it protects your company's company's reputation. So don't ignore the telephone preference. It is there, and people don't particularly like it when you do actually ignore it. And it's not the best way to start any telephone call. Oh, you do realise that with telephone preference registered? Oh, sorry, no, I didn't know. And then try and go on and sell to people. That really isn't a good way of starting a relationship or building up a relationship at all. The next is the high turnover of telephone staff. And again, I always turn around and say, yes, it can be a high turnover, but if people are actually trained, right? If salespeople are actually trained right, if they use prompts, AI prompts that can actually help them be more efficient, be more effective within their training, and again get the right lists from Data Bubble or another list broker, then yeah, you're on a good way of actually getting into a good job with regards to telemarketing. And again, there doesn't have to be a high turnover of staff as long as people actually train the staff effectively, treat them well with great data, as well as then with regards to pay, make sure that they are paid what they are worth, because they do actually a great job. Telemarketing is a really good way of actually getting new clients. So again, we've got a little prompt that I use to, we can actually use the previous prompts that you can actually then use to actually create scripts for your telemarketing. So that's the presentation concluded. So as I say, there are some pitfalls there, and if you actually try and avoid them pitfalls, then you are going to get a better result with regards to your telemarketing. And again, with using AI, I use it as a friend. I don't rely on it 100%, but I actually use it in conjunction with my business. So therefore, it just gives me that little bit of idea, that little bit of prompt, so that you can then turn around and say, right, and develop my own scripts around the clients. But I do really use it to actually investigate and analyse clients' websites, so that it then prepares me for any telephone call that I do actually make.